the shooting range. In this episode, the story of the LA-200, the warden of the northern border, the War Thunder marketplace, and how to use it. Hotline. The developers answer questions that you've left in the comments. But first, let's start with how to get the most out of the T-64B. "39 tons, 700 horsepower, and a 2A46M 125mm weapon. That's right, we're talking about the T-64 Modification B, the most modern, powerful, and desired tank of the Soviet ground tech tree. We've already discussed its performance data in a recent video, T-64B versus M1 Abrams. There's a link in the description in case you've missed it. So we won't be repeating all those numbers all over again. Today's Metal Beasts will be more about playing it, and not about the data. As you might have understood from the same video, the T-64B's driver will have some problems in a duel against the Abrams. But does it mean that the Soviet MBT is bad? We wouldn't say that. Of course, in some areas it loses to almost every tank from the same tier. Specifically, its weak spots are its agility and slow turret rotation. We could have added the reload rate to the weak spots as well, but we didn't. Let's not forget that even though the T-64B doesn't have a fast fire rate, it has the biggest caliber among the top tanks and one of the widest ranges of ammo types for this BR as well. So, how do you play it? Firstly, no rushing to capture point. You won't be the first to get there, that's for sure. Instead, find a couple of promising directions where the enemy might show up, carefully take position, and wait for the guests to come. This gameplay is all the more effective because of the size of this tank. It will be a lot easier to hide compared to that same Abrams. The best ambush positions for you are those where your opponent would only see your turret. By the way, don't ignore the opportunity to cover it, and the hull with some decorators. On some maps like the Ash River or Karelia, they will dramatically boost your effectiveness. What if you don't like ambushing people? Well, there are always the smokes. You're not very fast, and the lower glacis plate isn't very well protected, but they can't kill you if they don't see you, right? A couple of the T-64Bs can cover the assault of the whole team using their smoke grenades and the ESS. By the way, it doesn't only have the biggest caliber in its class. This tank also has 5 9M112 ATGMs piercing 650mm of armor. With those, you can get to even the smartest of your opponents at almost any distance. Just remember to take a well-covered position before you shoot. You can't hide all that well with a 4 kph reverse speed. And finally, there's another special thing about the T-64B. An absolutely amazing ceremonial camouflage. It has 0 extra efficiency, but boy, does it look marvelous. And now, the story of an aircraft that everyone needed, but nobody used. Mao Zedong was wrong. The atom bomb was no paper tiger. The threat was very much real. And after thousands of bombers turned Germany into ruins, the next in line was the USSR. But the consequences of atom bombing would be massively graver. Moreover, news coming from America contained information about new transonic bombers that would soon be delivered to air bases in Alaska and in Western Europe. What would the Soviet army do if the Western countries would dare to pull off something like the Operation Unthinkable? Best case, they would attack from the European borders where the USS had Air Force divisions and air defense systems, but they could also attack from the North Pole, and in that case, all of the north of the USSR was open to the enemy. A huge hole in the defense, several thousand kilometers wide. No amount of anti-aircraft guns would cover that. Thus, the USSR needed a new special type of aircraft, a high-speed interceptor with a very powerful radar. It should have been able to fly for a long time, waiting for a threat to come, and in that case, speed up and destroy it with one blast before it delivered its deadly present to millions of civilians. But the problem started even before they began creating it. In the late 40s, the USSR didn't have a suitable jet engine. They had to use the descendants of the British ones, the Nin and the Derwent. Then it turned out that traditional layout of the engine wouldn't let the plane speed up properly, as the drag run would be too powerful. That's why they decided to use unconventional methods in all three construction bureaus that worked on this project. Mikoyan and Gurevich created the I-320, Pavel Sukhoi presented the Su-15, and Semyon Lavochkin ended up with the La-200, the best of them all. He placed the engine at an angle, and the decision proved to be right. The interceptor could speed up nicely, and its three 37mm N-37 cannons could quickly destroy any bomber. Since the other two interceptors were worse, Lavochkin had to deliver on his own. He worked his soul off, without noticing the troubling aching in his chest. There was no time to pity himself. The command demanded a new radar, and several options, please, and the plane itself could perform weirdly in the sky because of the unconventional layout. In the end, the aircraft was ready, and the Air Defense Command demanded its immediate production. And then something happened that could have been predicted, even should have been. But the task didn't mention it at all. World engineers started creating air-to-air missiles, and they quickly became the first choice for interceptor jets. The military were about to demand another round of changes to the La-200's construction. But it was impossible. Not because the USSR didn't yet have an air-to-air missile, but because it would mean creating a completely different aircraft. The titanic work of Semyon Lavochkin was in vain. The military preferred the Yak-25 now. Alexander Sergeyevich Yakovlev did it all right. He waited until the USSR had the right engine. He took precautions to ensure that this aircraft could carry guided missiles, and most importantly, he installed a brand new and very powerful radar. The La-200 didn't have a chance. It never got in the sky again. The time of air cannon fighters was coming to its end. Camouflages are probably the most popular kind of user-made modification in the game. Until recently, there weren't many of them, and the good and unique ones were even rarer. But now, we have a solution to that problem. Welcome to the War Thunder Marketplace. First, let's establish that this is still a work in progress. We're testing and refining it daily. But even now, the players can buy and sell camouflages, chests, and even rare machines. All the prices are set by the players themselves, except for the value of the keys. This one is fixed. You might want to keep an eye on the prices once in a while if you want to profit here. A couple of days of active trading, and a player might turn into a successful stockbroker. How does the marketplace work, and how not to go bankrupt? Let's figure it out. First things first. As you well know, every War Thunder player gets crates with battle trophies every once in a while, as long as he is active at least 50% of the time and playing on Tier 3 tech or higher. In the crates, you can find some coupons for skins or rare tech. From now on, after getting those crates, you get to decide how to use them. You can buy keys on the marketplace and open them, or sell them locked, or open them and sell the coupons, or forever bind them to yourself, because once activated on your account, the coupon can't be sold on the marketplace. Let's say you need a key to open a crate you have. Go to the marketplace that resides at trade.gaijin.net, find the key, push the purchase button, and here goes nothing. Instead of the product, you'll be asked to purchase something called a GJN. That is because the marketplace only works with in-game currency that's called a Gaijin coin. You can't mine it, but you can definitely buy it. 1 coin per US dollar. Pick the desired amount, pay with, well, what's comfortable to you, and see your in-game balance grow. Time to go back to the market and grab that key. Now, as we've said, the keys have a fixed price, but all the rest, like coupons and crates, can gain some value while you're away to get some coins. If the money isn't the question, you can buy it like that, but in other cases, better leave an order to buy the item at a price that's okay with you. If it's reasonable, sooner or later there'll be a player who is willing to sell this item faster and at your terms, even though it would cost him 10 or 15% of the average deal. But what if you want to trade but don't have enough money? Time to sell stuff. As we've already mentioned, you can sell your battle trophies even if they aren't open. A couple of those will get you enough coins to get a simple camouflage or something like that. Remember that in order to get the access to the marketplace, you have to enable two-step authentication in your profile. That way, your account and your savings will be safe from an unauthorized access. Also, keep in mind that the Gaijin coins can be used to purchase things in our shop as well. You can save a lot of real money on buying Eagles and premium access, as long as you're successful on the marketplace. Get ready for the traditional last part of our show, Hotline, developers answering questions from the comments. The first question was asked by a user called Josh Kowame-chun. How long does it take to come up with the script for this show so the people can tell if you're being sarcastic or not? As well as you might have noticed, the Shooting Range is a weekly show, so each episode takes about 7 days to produce. The scripts take about half of that time, with all the editorial work, etc. A player called Liam writes, "Can you please add the Swiss Army?" Hi mate, everything we've said about the plans in the previous Hotline is true, except for the Uganda part, probably. We're digging a lot of information on the world tank industry, and the next nation heavily depends on the country, where we'll find the most of it by the time we've finished with the first wave of the Italian tanks. For now, we just can't say anything specific on the next nations. Hi Bye says, how do I make a user-made model? Hi there. All in all, it's not easy. Here's an oversimplified version for creating a new model, and we mean it really good, one of a kind that actually makes it into the game from time to time. First, you need to spend a lot of time digging up the information about the performance data, sizes, and all the other parameters of the real thing for your future model. Then, you need to know, well, modeling and texture creation. Then combine it all together, implement and calibrate your model within the game. Some coding skills will come in handy as well. And then publish it at live.warthunder.com. Actually, if you create a topic on our forum and take time to write about the creation process of your model from time to time, the developers might find it and give you some advice. Modeling is surely not easy, but it is also fun. And the last very serious message was sent by a player called Melchius. War Thunder, can I say that I love you? Well, who are we to stop you? That's it for today, but feel free to write your questions in the comments below. We do read them all, and you might see some of them answered in the next episode. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I'll see you on the shooting range.